Baseball was my favorite, and I got a scholarship to the University of California, Berkeley. And after my freshman year there, I signed with the Baltimore Orioles, and that was in 1960. My first half year, there was only a half year left, I was sent to Stockton and played in the California League. And I played there, I think it was 90-some games, and then the season was over. And from there, they asked me to go to winter ball in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I went there and I played for a manager, Earl Weaver, who is now in the Hall of Fame. Played outfield probably 95% of the time. I did play some infield. Charlene and I met at a dorm. She was in one and I was in the other. At Berkeley. And we're married in January of '61. We had a lot of fun. We every year would travel to Florida for spring training, and we got to see a lot of things.
Loved the traveling. I mean, we were young. Our situation was good as far as, well, we didn't have children at that time, and so we were free, to do what we wanted to. And it was like a vacation every spring. Jim would get his semester in of school, and then we'd take off for, next 7 months or so.
You had to pack up everything you were going to take that you needed for wherever you were going to be sent. So everything had to go in the back seat in the trunk or on the roof. And initially we had a 56 Ford, and we had to get everything in there. And we had to pack our ironing board. She always needed her ironing board.
I just had my ironing board. Put that in the back seat first. And I remember wanting to take the angel food cake pan. You know how big an angel food cake pan is. I said, I'll hold it on my lap. Anything that that he didn't think we had room for, I'd say, I'll hold it on my lap. So, no, but we had to have, obviously not furniture and everything, but I mean, all other household stuff. Nothing was really supplied for us at any place.
And most of our places we rented when we were playing turned out to be fairly nice places, even though they were part of a big home.
And they were older.
But they were well cared for.
Spring training.
But spring training, especially now when we went to AAA in Daytona Beach, we were right on Daytona Beach in a nice motel. It was beautiful. But if you were in Thomasville, Georgia, I'll let Charlene speak to that.
I mean, you found places. I remember one that we had was, had a big hole in one of the windows. And probably the highlight was the cockroaches. We, at night, that was in Thomasville, would come home from maybe going out to eat or something, and turn on the lights, and they just scattered every place. And our first clue should have been that there was going to be a problem. Was our bed? The bedposts were set in buckets of sand, and that was supposed to be so the cockroaches couldn't crawl up onto your bed. So that was a little interesting.
One of the hardest things about playing in the minor leagues is until you got to AAA ball, you were traveling by bus or by van. And you could have a 700-800 mile trip, and you were in a bus for a long time. You didn't stop. You went straight through because you could be playing one night, Elmira or wherever you were playing. The next night you'd have to be in the next town wherever you were playing. So sometimes you got very little sleep between the final stay and wherever you were playing and where you had to go. A lot of people don't realize too that in minor league ball, when you're on the road, you get meal money, and the higher up you go, the more money you get to eat. And if you're in low level, like I played in the Carolina League in, what year was that?
62 in
62,
Wilson, North Carolina.
North Carolina, and they gave you $2.50 a day to eat when you were on the road. And now AAA ball, and this was back in mid-60s, you got $10 a day. So the more you went up, the more you got paid. And then, of course, in the major leagues, you got even more. But minor leaguers, they didn't get a lot of money to eat on. Now, I think the wives had it pretty good, though, because
We had fun because the guys were usually gone, 5 to 7 days on a road trip. And those first couple of years, most of us were newlyweds. And so I remember one year we played, there were some of us who played golf, and we'd go to the show, we'd go to each other's houses to eat, and we had a good time. Now, as people started having children, then that complicated their lives a little bit, but there were still, it seemed like there was always still one or, 2 or 3 of us maybe who didn't have children and could come and go as we wanted. So it was fun.